Thank you for joining us today, Amaris Blair. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are terrific. Thank you for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure. We appreciate your time. Before we get into anything, are you in New Orleans?
I'm like about an hour and a half south of New Orleans, so like very bottom of Louisiana.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I am jealous from the start because it's Louisiana is a big bucket list for me. So I'm so jealous from the offset. I know Callum's been, but it's on the bucket list for me. How are things over there at the moment?
I mean, wrestling's not happening down here currently, so it's been pretty boring, I guess.
Yeah. Same here though. We haven't had a wrestling show in about 10 months. It's
Right.
crazy at the moment. I know there's parts of America which have wrestling right now, but it's not every state, is it? It's only
No.
certain states.
Yeah, certain states are under like an athletic commission, and
Yeah.
so Louisiana is under one, and he's just not allowing any shows in Louisiana. So
Yeah, it's quite
we
strict
haven't had
there,
a
right?
show since January.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been the like Callum said. I think the last show we had was March.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we've got NXT UK, but
Right.
That's not.
I mean, we say we've got that, but there's no fans. But that's the only UK show we've got to watch.
Right.
Yeah, it's been probably like March time since we've been able to go to a show, had a show put on, and then but it's horrible times at the moment, but we're very positive. Fingers crossed, you know, we're going to get there in the end. We're going to get back to what we love. But speaking of love, obviously, I mean, where did your journey begin? I mean, when did you decide you wanted to become a wrestler?
So wrestling's always been like a huge part of my life since I was like 4 years old playing wrestling games on like a Nintendo 64. So I kind of just like progressively found more and more love for wrestling. And whenever I was about 11, I started going to like local shows, and I just became obsessed. And so I got really invested in CM Punk specifically. And I was like, you know what? One day I want to do that. I want to be a wrestler. And my parents were very supportive of it, thankfully, from like the very beginning. They didn't think I was going to go through with it, but I did. I found like a wrestling school. And so once I was 18, I started training.
So when CM Punk had the pipe bomb promo and had that storyline where he's leaving the WWE with the championship, was that one of the things which really drew you to CM Punk?
Yeah, I think that was like right around the time I actually really got invested in WWE.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just something about CM Punk. I just like his matches are just so amazing, and he's just like an amazing, like his character was amazing. He played it so well, and so it just like was something I was really invested in.
Yeah, I mean, side question, you know, do you think we'll ever see him come back?
I don't think he'll ever be back, but I really wish he would be.
I'm kind of the same. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I only want him to come back if he's happy.
Right.
I don't want him back if he's like just offered a load of money to come back. I want him to want to come back.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as you. I don't think he will, but I would like it. But we'll see. There's more companies out there now than just WWE for him to go to. So I mean, you know, if he turned up at AEW or something like that, I mean, I think wrestling will just be turned upside down if something like that happened.
I think he would be better off at AEW just because he'd have more power to be creative with his character, you know, just have more freedom with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Obviously doing a little bit of research as well. Obviously you said CM Punk, but you're also a big fan of his wife, AJ Lee.
Yeah, AJ is actually like my first really big inspiration to become like a women's wrestler. And she's like also kind of inspired my character as well.
Yeah, she was I want to say revolutionary. You know, people going about obviously the divas and coming back to the women's championship and all that. I think she's very much at the forefront of where we are today with women's wrestling. I think she doesn't get the credit she deserves. And another person who you remind me of, and I think I heard you say is another influence, is Alexa Bliss.
Yep.
What is it about Alexa that stood out for you?
I don't know. I think her and AJ both inspire me because a lot of the women's wrestlers are like, really tall and muscular and stuff like that. And like, I'm only 5'2". And so I got compared to AJ and Alexa a lot.
Yeah.
And then also Alexa's character just in general really inspired my character. I adore her.
Yeah, I think Alexa Bliss is one of my favorite like female wrestlers at the moment. She's incredible. One of the best women's wrestlers in WWE, and I don't think she gets enough credit actually, especially her character work. Like the work she's been doing at the moment with the Fiend.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
so good. Like I don't think there's anyone that can touch her at the moment.
No, definitely not.
No,
Sorry,
she's
I'm being attacked by a cat here. Like, Jamie, I'm just gonna put your cat in the living room. I'll be back in a minute.
That's fine, mate. Yeah, we're very professional here, Amaris, as you can tell. So, I am sorry. Yeah, she's in that mood at the moment. Is the cat? So I do apologise. Well, like you said, you've got tons of cats yourself, haven't you? So I'm sure you're very aware of it. But
I totally get that.
But talking of your journey and your training, I mean, we've got to talk Elev8 Pro. I mean, is that where you did your training?
So I originally started with because I was going to like indie shows about an hour from my house, and there was this 30-year veteran that was there, and he trained me for a little bit, but it just wasn't consistent enough for me, and so I knew a couple of people from Elev8 Pro, and so I switched over there in June 2019, I think. And they just helped really create my character, and I'm still there. I love it there.
Yeah, that's it. We spoke to Brittany about a month or two ago. Mm-hmm. Absolutely lovely woman. I mean, what's it like being working with Brittany for you? How much has she helped you?
She has helped me like beyond what I can even explain, honestly, like between like character work and just like overall like helping me, because wrestling can be a very difficult business to be in at times. And so to have Brittany, because she was like the first like woman in the business I really knew, and so along with the fact that I was the first women's trainee in Elev8 Pro, so she's definitely helped me a lot. Whenever it was a bit frustrating to be around all the guys, she would kind of be there for me. So yeah, I absolutely adore her.
And she helps as well, obviously, because obviously Brittany, she commentates as well. So I mean, has she helped in that regard? Obviously, like we've been able to like cut promos or you speaking in general. Has she been a big help with that?
Oh, absolutely. Her and another person named Brett Ian Landry, who is like a manager in wrestling, they have both been so helpful with promos and stuff like that. Like, promos were a very scary thing for me in the beginning. I just didn't think I was going to be good at them. And Brittany really helped me with that, and just like finding my character really, and just, I guess, giving me that confidence to do promos.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't do that. The thought of standing up in front of a bunch of people and cutting a promo off the top of my head, I couldn't do it. So I totally get it. I mean, I tip my hat to you big time, because it must be daunting when you first get up there to do that.
Oh, absolutely. It's so terrifying.
all these eyes on you. I just can't imagine. The other thing as well, obviously with Elev8, that we spoke to Brittany, is the work that she's doing. Obviously, she's putting a lot of emphasis on the LGBTQ and working with the drag queen company as well, and things like that. I mean, how cool is that with you? I mean, to see what Brittany's doing in that respect.
It's so awesome, because it's just such a progressive company, and like it's just getting more and more progressive as the months go by. Even during the pandemic, we're still just making so much progress in the company, and so I love being a part of a company like that. I really do.
Yeah, she seems like she's got a really clear vision for what she wants. It's going to be all inclusive, and she's not just saying that as like a fancy marketing term. She really wants it to be. She's genuine with what she's saying.
Right, because so many like indie wrestling companies are so just like, no, we don't want this type of person. We don't want this type of person. A lot of them are also very sexist, and so like companies that I've gone to have been like, oh no, we don't book women, stuff like that. And it kind of hurts to hear. It's like being a part of these shows, or like going to these shows and just hearing like, no, we're never going to book you because you're a woman. It really sucks. So to be a part of a company, where it's owned by a woman and she wants all of these women's matches and to make them like a big part of the show, it's really nice.
Yeah, and I think more importantly, an equal part of the show. That's what I was saying to Brittany before is I want more promotions to have as many women's matches as men's matches and just to have an equal place on the card. And Brittany, it sounds like that's what she's all about. If anything, I think there needs to be more female promoters in America and the UK.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of disgusting really that still happens in the world. I mean, it's 2021. I mean, why are we going backwards? It's really, really bad. But yeah, like I said, we spoke to Brittany, and what she's doing is incredible. We've said we're going to get out there as well at some point, me and Callum, because it's on my bucket list. So I mean, I'm going regardless. But we've told Brittany we're going to get to Elev8.
Give it another couple of years. WrestleMania will be back in New Orleans. They never stay away for too long. So.
Right.
We've already told Brittany we're coming. We're having a glass of whiskey with her. We're going to go and watch some blues. So chances are you'll probably get me and Callum coming to an Elev8 Pro show in the next 2 or 3 years, just to give you a heads up. Because you won't find me. You'll lose me straight away because I'll just follow the whiskey and the blues. But we are coming out there. But what about, like, obviously the world's not in the best of places at the moment, but I firmly believe there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're getting there slowly. Right. What's the plans then? When the world opens up, do you have a plan for 2021?
I did somewhat have a plan, but then I got injured. I'm currently out with an injury. So once I can get back in the ring, I'm just really like putting all my focus into it, training as much as I can. There's a couple of different promotions in a few different states that want to book me. So I don't know. I'm just letting things happen. Really, I don't have any specific plan.
Yeah, there's not much you can really plan for at the moment, is there?
Right.
We don't know when states are going to open up. You don't know when other countries will open up. So we usually ask, like, would you want to come to the UK? And the answer is usually yes. But nobody knows when you can come to the UK yet. We can't leave the country, and no one can come in at the moment. So it's such a shame. But I'm sure once the world does open
at the minute, never mind the country, we can't even leave our city. So I mean, that's how bad it is at the moment. Sorry, Callum.
No, carry on. It's fine.
But like Callum said, I mean, obviously when the world does open up, but obviously you still want to train, you want to go to different places and learn your craft. Would the UK be somewhere you'd want to come over and work?
Yeah, definitely. That would I'm up for honestly going literally anywhere. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the UK scene, like I said before this, the UK scene is thriving. There's literally a promotion in, I think, nearly every city in this country now. So you'd not be short of work wherever you go. Obviously, there's a lot of hard hitting. I mean, your style, I mean, are you a fan of the British style? It's a kind of a hard hitting, smash mouth kind of style.
Oh, yeah, I definitely enjoy it. Like, I always find myself watching NXT UK just to see that kind of like different style of wrestling. I think it's very fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I can see you kicking ass over here, not a problem. Really good. But obviously, you mentioned the injury as well. I mean, what is it you've actually done? What have you injured?
Oh yeah, so I was having like a little training match, and some guy just did a simple takeover, and it went wrong. So I have a fractured foot right now, like badly fractured foot. So
it's crazy how sometimes the most simplest of moves is the one that can cause the biggest injury.
Absolutely.
Like you see these, I think it was Pac before when he was wrestling Chris Jericho, just went for a baseball slide and ended up tearing the whole, like, every ligament in his leg.
Oh my goodness,
and yeah, it's always the most simple moves which cause the worst injuries.
Absolutely.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it is. It's totally. I mean, it's not even that. I broke my ankle years ago just from sitting down. I was sat down. Literally, I was sat down. I was doing something on the floor, like my legs crossed, got back up, and just went over. So it is the stupidest, simplest little things.
Only you could do that, Jamie.
I know. I'm useless. I really am. But another, obviously, like you said, with what your plans are. I mean, we always talk as well to people about like AEW Dark, because what they're doing at the minute with the platform they're giving indie talent, is incredible. Is that something else that you'd be interested in doing in the future if it came up?
Oh, absolutely. Overall, my main goal is to get into AEW one day, and so just to be in AEW Dark would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a really good ticket for a lot of talent on the independents. Like,
Definitely.
if you look at the pre-pandemic, AEW Dark was maybe 4 matches, and that was over the space of an hour. Now AEW Dark's like a 2.5-hour show featuring like 30 different independent talents, and even if you don't get signed, you go back to the independents having worked for AEW and add so much more to your name. And if you do get signed, that's fantastic. They've picked up so many independent names recently, and which they probably wouldn't have got if it wasn't for the pandemic. So maybe that's a silver lining in some ways. Like I said, you'd like to get into AEW. AEW Dark seems like a really good place to start with. What is it about AEW which draws you to it over other companies?
I don't know. So whenever I was younger, obviously I wanted to be a part of WWE, but I've had like friends do like little like backstage segments and just back work and stuff like that. And I've heard from a couple of people that it's not necessarily like the most positive or just uplifting environment. And I have like a lot of friends that are in AEW, whether it's actual AEW or AEW Dark, and it just seems to be, I don't know, I think I'd have a little bit more creative freedom in AEW compared to WWE.
Yeah, is that something which you, like you said with CM Punk, you'd like to see him go to AEW for that reason? That's something you value as well, the creative side of wrestling?
Absolutely, because I mean, I put a lot of work into the character that I have, and I wouldn't want that to be switched around into something entirely different that I just can't see myself being.
Yeah, I get you. What if you could fantasy book your like entry into AEW? Like, what would you want to come in as? Would it be a face, a heel? What would you be going for if you came in like next week?
Oh goodness.
What would your first feud be?
So originally I was a face, but with my my promos and stuff, I suck at cutting face promos, and they automatically just turn very heelish. And so I think I'd probably just come in as a heel just because it at this point fits my character better.
Yeah.
As far as a match or a feud, oh goodness, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
I think personally for me, one of the best talents right now, two, I'd probably go with Britt Baker and Abaddon. Have two really good characters in AEW, and
Definitely.
I think all of the women, like the women's division, is really good. I think they're slowly trying to build that up. AEW Dark's doing a great job of that. But yeah, I think they've got some really good characters in the women's division in AEW. And do you feel like you could add some depth to that as well? Like if you got signed?
Oh, definitely. I mean, not to sound like ridiculous or stuck up or anything, but I feel like I said, I put a lot of effort into my character, and from what I've heard from a lot of people, I play my character well and just like bring something different to the table. And so, I mean, yeah, I think I'd.
I mean, you've got to think that, really, haven't you? I mean, you've kind of got to have that confidence to know that you bring something to a company when you're in there.
Definitely, and like that's what my character is all about. It's just like overly confident, slightly narcissistic. It's just like.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say if I could book you coming into AEW, I can just see you as a complete total heel, a complete stuck-up, arrogant bitch. All right,
Yep.
that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I think that you'd be perfect there. You really would. But yeah, like you said, like years ago, WWE was like where everyone wanted to go. That was the only place. Now, especially in 2021, 2020, 2021. There's so many places to go. There's so many companies to go to. It's time to be a wrestling fan. I mean, how important do you think it is now that we've got so many more companies instead of just WWE?
like I really like the fact that we have a lot more options nowadays, because whenever I was growing up watching WWE, I mean, like I said, there's all that there was, and like don't get me wrong, it was good at the time, but I feel like it doesn't necessarily draw my attention as much.
Mm.
And I feel like sometimes WWE is just a little too cutthroat with their talent.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good talent that they're not necessarily doing anything with. And
I,
so now that there's more of a platform for other people, if they don't necessarily fit into WWE, it's nice that there's other places that they can go.
I think that's the most frustrating part of WWE for me personally, is when the talent just stagnates and they're like spending the best years doing nothing. And
Absolutely.
like we haven't seen Aleister Black for the last 4 months,
Right.
and he could be a world champion in any promotion. So it would be so much like, at least now we know when they're released or their contract expires. There's another top company they can go to and be a world champion.
Right, right.
That's it, yeah. I mean, and like you said, not just AEW. I mean, Impact are putting on some of the best product I've seen in a long time. Ring of Honor are having a resurgence. Obviously, New Japan, for me, is the best wrestling in the world.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, so you've spoiled for choices. I mean, I'm guessing you're a New Japan fan then.
Yeah, I don't like get like too invested in specific wrestlers, but just the matches that they put on are just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it is. I think again, what I love with New Japan is, like you said, the story is told in the ring. There's no 30-minute promos before before the first match kind of a thing. Your story are told in the ring, and it's fantastic. It hooks you in from the start. I'm presuming then Japan is another place you'd like to go to.
Or Stardom.
Stardom, yeah.
Yeah, Stardom would be awesome.
There you go. We're booking all this. We'll make this happen. We'll make this happen. But yeah, I mean,
it's gonna happen.
no, it is. But yeah, like I say, Japan. That's what I love. It's the long-term storytelling. I think New Japan do that fantastically. AEW were the same. I think for a while when it was just WWE, it was lost. Because they were the only company around.
Right.
Now you've got AEW, you've got Impact, you've got New Japan. I think the art form of storytelling is back with these companies. Is that something you can tell? I mean, I'm presuming you're a fan of long-term storytelling as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely think I don't know. So I feel like with WWE, they I used to be very invested in their storylines and how they would portray them and stuff like that, because like I said, I started watching getting invested whenever I was about 11. So I felt like storylines with like CM Punk and Chris Jericho, one of my favorite storylines of all time. They used to play that off really well, but now I feel like they're I don't know, I just feel like it's a little chaotic and a mess. So I feel like with now that we have other companies, and I feel like specifically AEW, I feel like they just all with the way they run their shows. I feel like they do it really well, and so I'm glad that we have these, because they all do it differently. So I'm glad we have these different promotions to kind of show how it can be run, really, rather than WWE being the main set place.
Absolutely, yeah. Obviously, before we start to wrap up now as well, I have to ask you one question. Obviously, I was doing some research and I saw an interview, and it's not wrestling related. I was just very curious when someone asked you your dream dinner date. You said Jeff Goldblum. I was.
It is for many, many women, though. I've heard a lot of women say that before.
I don't know. I've just been kind of obsessed with Jeff Goldblum since Thor Ragnarok. I don't know what it is about Jeff Goldblum, but he's just like such an amazing human being, and he's just so fascinating. So yeah, absolute dream dinner date. I don't know.
I had to ask. I just when you was asked it, I was blown away. I was not expecting Jeff Goldblum to come out. I mean, I really wasn't. Yeah. I mean, I'm old enough to remember Jeff Goldblum in The Fly and Jurassic Park. He's a great actor. But it just threw me. I was like, oh, well, I wasn't expecting that. Right. Yeah. I mean, for me, for Dave Grohl. But Jeff Goldblum. Yeah. But not like Amaris. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. We'd love to get you back on as well down the road at some point. But for now, before we do go, I mean, tell everybody where they can find you. I'd say in the upcoming shows, but we're kind of, locked down at the moment. But where can people find you on social media?
So I'm just typically at Amaris Blair on just about everything, and then obviously you can find me on Elev8 Pro Resurgence on YouTube and Fight TV.
Hell yeah. And I highly recommend everyone does do that. And Elev8 Pro, we've been watching it since we spoke to Brittany. I've been on YouTube. We've subscribed. It's wonderful to watch. Everybody needs to check it out. They really do. But for now, Amaris Blair, thank you so much. We have been Ringside. Thank you.